Hi everyone, Monique here with Little Gems Creations 1. Today we are going to be making an extra small dog sweater. This is also available or able to fit a kitten. So we're going to start that in just a minute. Hi everyone, Monique here with Little Gems Creations 1. Today we are making an extra small dog sweater. So this would be the size that you'd use for a teacup dog, like a teacup Chihuahua or a little teacup Maltese or something like that, like a little teacup Yorkie, something to that effect. So you're going to need some yarn. I'm using some yarn that was given to me ages ago. I would call this a fingerling yarn or a sock yarn. That's the weight it is. So I'm using two different colors, contrasting colors. I don't know what brand they are, but the main thing is that it's nice thin yarn, like sock yarn. The other thing I am using is a 250 millimeter crochet hook. You're going to need scissors and a darning needle, and let's get started. So I mentioned that this was going to be a hoodie, right? Now this would fit, say, a 1 to 3 pound dog, okay? So it's just for a teeny tiny dog. So to start, I always start by crossing my yarn at the front, and then I yarn over and I pull through, and that's how I start. So that's 1. We're going to chain 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then we're going to chain 1 more to go up, and we're going to do single crochets all the way across. So we should end up with 8 single crochets. So 1, oops, sorry, I'm doing this around a camera. It's a new camera angle. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now my yarn is hand spun, so it's got different thickness, but you just use whatever you're comfortable with. So 6 and 7 on this, or sorry, 8. That was 7 and this 8. On the 8th one, catch your tail, and there we go. Now we're going to chain up 1. Now what we are doing is we're doing the ribbing of the sweater, okay? So instead of going through the stitch, so that, here we go. You see our stitch there, right there? Instead of going in there, we're going to yarn forward, over, sorry, and we're just going to go in the back of that stitch. Sorry, we're doing single crochets. I don't know why I yarned over. Okay, so in the back of that, pull through, yarn over, through your loops. So we're only going into the back of that stitch, okay? We're going to do this all the way across. We should end up with 8. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now chain 1 to go up. So let me just show you here. We've got 1 row, 2 rows, and they're kind of off kilter, right? Okay, so same thing, into just that back loop. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so let's count our rows so you can be sure you can see where a row is. We've got 1, 2, 3 rows, okay? So 1, 2, 3, and you see how they kind of are bumpy. Okay, so you're going to want to do 40 rows of this, okay? So we've got 3 so far. You chain up 1, you go across 8 only in the back loops. So do that and meet me back. Hey everyone, I'm back. Hey, just to make sure everyone is clear, if you're brand new to crocheting, this is a 2.50 millimeter crochet hook. So you're not using like half a tree to crochet with, okay? So I've done my 40 rows. So see how it's bent? So that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34, 68, 40 rows. Okay? So now what we're going to do, without twisting this, we are going to go, we're just going to catch the top of this side, and using our other color, if you're doing contrasting colors, if not, just continue with the yarn you're using. Oh, well, it helps if I could know where my end is. The heck is the end? I've got an end, but it seems to be tangled. Okay, so taking your other color yarn, you're just going to pull it through. Okay. So you have here, that can get pulled tight. And then you're going to chain 2. 1, 2. Okay, so make sure this isn't twisted. You're going to cut your previous yarn if you're switching colors. Leave a tail so you can use it to sew up the seam. And by the seam, I mean this little opening here. We're going to use the tail to sew it up. Okay, and then we went up 2. Okay, at this point, if you want to knot your 2 tails, you can do that. Okay, there we go. We knotted our 2 tails, move them out of the way, take our loop back up. Now here's what we're going to do. In every single row, we're going to make 1 half double crochet, okay? So yarn over, into the top of that row, pull through, yarn over through 3 stitches. That's 1, and then in the next one, 2, and then into the dimple there, 3, and up here, 4. You're going to end up with 40 stitches. Do that all the way around and meet me back. Okay, so I've done 40. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to slip stitch into that second chain on our chain up 2. Okay. Don't do that. Okay, so second chain from the chain up 2. Oh my goodness. You know why? It's because this camera's in front of me. Okay, I'm going to peek around the side, so if I go off frame a bit, I'm sorry. Okay, second chain. I'm going to go through that and through that with a slip stitch, chain up 2, 1, 2. Okay, so if you've watched any of my extra small dog sweater videos, you'll know that I don't always go into the chain 2. So I go around the first and I slip stitch into the chain 2. Next row, I'm going to slip stitch into the first stitch. Next row, I'll slip stitch into the chain 2. And the reason I do that is because if I don't, I find that my rows start to go on a slight diagonal. And I'm a little bit fussy about things like that. And so I don't like seeing that. So I don't do that. Okay? So if you don't have that problem, by all means do it your way. But I do. So I do it my way. So we're going to do 10 rows of these half double crochets. So that one we just did counted as 1 row. And we're going to do 10 rows total of these double crochets. Okay, so do the 10 rows, and for connecting, you slip stitch into the second chain on the first row, and then you slip stitch into the stitch on the second row, and then you slip stitch into the second chain on the third row, and you just keep track. You go, this is how I do it. I go chain stitch, chain stitch, chain stitch, all the way up. 10 rows. Do that. 10 rows round, half double crochet. Meet me back. Hey everyone, I'm back, and I have done my 10 rows. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So next we're going to do the back. So we're going to chain up 2, and we're going to do 20 half double crochets. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Then we're going to chain up 2, 1, 2, and we're going to go back over just those 20 stitches, okay? We are going to do this for a total of 6 rows. Okay, so we've already done 1. Then we're starting on our second. We're going to do this for 6 rows. Okay, so all half double crochets just on those 20 stitches back and forth for 6 rows. Okay, you do that and meet me back. And if you haven't had a chance yet, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe. And this is a new camera angle. I've only used it for my last few videos. Tell me what you think of it, if it allows you to see what I'm working on better. Okay, so 6 rows back and forth on those 20 stitches, okay? Do that, meet me back. Okay, I'm back. I did my 6 rows. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to pull up my loop long. I'm going to cut a tail. I'm going to put my tail through my loop. See? And I'm going to pull gently. I am not pulling tight. I'm pulling gently because we're going to undo that later. Okay. Now I'm taking my yarn. I'm going to attach it over here. Okay, so I pull the yarn through. I chain up 2. Okay, and we're going to do 20 stitches, okay? Half double crochet, and I'm catching, can you see that? I'm catching my tail in the back for 1 stitch. Okay, so half double crochet, 1, we want 20, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Okay, so chain up 2. Now we're going to start decreasing for our legs, okay? So here's how we're going to do it. Yarn over into that first stitch, pull your yarn through. Yarn over into the next stitch, pull your yarn through. You're going to have 5 loops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yarn over, go through all 5 loops. That was turning 2 half double crochets into 1. So we had 20. This row we're going to bring down to 18. So that counts as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Okay, so this stitch is going to be our 18. So we have 2 stitches remaining. See? 1, 2. We're going to yarn over, go into the first stitch, pull your yarn through. Yarn over, go through that second stitch, pull your yarn through. 5 stitches, or 5 loops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 loops on the crochet hook. Yarn over, go through all 5 loops. That made us have 18 stitches. Chain up 2, and we're going to keep decreasing back and forth until we're down to 10 stitches, okay? So let me show you again on this side. So our first row was 20, this was 18, now we're going to do a row of 16 stitches. So yarn over into that first stitch, yarn over into the second stitch, 5 loops, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 loops, yarn over through all 5 loops. And now you're just going to go across. So 1, 2, and this is going to be a row of 16. So when we get to 15, we know we have to make a decrease. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 we do, and then for our 16th stitch we're going to combine these two. So yarn over into the stitch, pull through, yarn over into the next stitch, pull through, 5 loops, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yarn over, we're going through all 5 loops, chain up 2. Now 20, 18, 16, so you do that until we're down to 10 stitches, okay, and then meet me back. So I'm down to 10. Oops, what have I done? Okay, so I'm down to 10 stitches. Okay, and you'll see it matches up with the other side. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with my working yarn and I'm going to go to the other side, and you know where we did our chain 2? I'm going to take the top of the chain 2, so the second chain, and I'm going to slip stitch into there. Okay, and I'm going to pull a long loop. So see, we've made a little hole for an arm. Now you know where I told you not to pull it tight? We're going back there. We're going to undo that very carefully. We don't want to undo our work. Okay, we are going to pick up that loop and we're going to go into the second chain on the chain 2 up on this side. And we're going to slip stitch. Okay, and now we're going to pull that tail through again, but this time we're going to pull tight. Okay, and there we go. We've made a little leg hole. I'll just stuff that yarn in the middle, get it out of my way. Now I'm going to go back to the loop we made big. Okay. I thought I stuffed you in there. Okay. We're going to chain up 2. 1, 2. Okay, and now we're going to do 3 rows around, and it should work out to 30 stitches. And we're doing half double crochets. So 3 rounds of 30 stitches, half double crochets. And just like when we were doing the body, you would go into the chain and then the stitch and then the chain so that you don't get that diagonal. Okay, so 3 rows all the way around, should be 30 stitches. You do that and we'll meet back. Okay, so I am doing my slip stitch for my 3rd round of the neck. Okay, and then I'm going to make a big loop. I'm going to cut a tail, pull it through my loop, and pull tight. Now, this is the tummy, okay, where your little armholes are. That's the tummy, and this is the back, okay? So what we're gonna do to make this a hoodie is we need to get to the middle of the tummy. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in the 6th spot on the tummy, we are connecting our yarn. Okay, and we're gonna chain 2. In the same stitch, catching your tail, you're gonna do a half double crochet. Oops, I didn't yarn over. half double crochet. Okay, now I'm letting that tail at the back drop. Okay, now we're just gonna go around. We're still gonna have 30. We're doing half double crochets around. Okay, we're gonna come back to this one. We are not gonna join. So go around, do your 30 and meet me back, okay? So if you did it right, you should be in the stitch just before the stitch that you did your chain, okay? Now we're gonna chain up 2 and we're gonna do a decrease on each end, just like we did for the arms, okay? So yarn over into the stitch, pull through, yarn over into the next stitch, pull through. 5 loops, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 loops. Yarn over, pull through all 5 loops. So this was a 30 row, this will make it a 28 row, okay? So we've got 1 stitch. When you get to your 27, you know you have to put the 2 together to get to the 28. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So get to the 27th stitch and then meet me back and I'll show you how to decrease again. 27th stitch, so to do the decrease, yarn over into the stitch, pull through, yarn over into the next stitch, pull through, and this is 28. We're going to decrease 1 more row, so just like we did on that row, which will bring us to 26, and then including these, the starting of the hood, the decrease, we're going to do a total of 12 rows, okay? So this is 1, 2, we're going to decrease on this one, which will be 3, and then do the rest for 12 rows, and then meet me back. Okay, so we're back, and I did my 12 rows for my hood, 26 stitches in a row after our 2 rows of decrease. Now I'm going to cut an extra long tail because we're going to need this to seam up our hood. I'm going to pull my tail through my loop tight. Okay, so now I'm going to turn this sweater inside out. Okay, I'm going to grab my darning needle and I'm going to start on the hood. I'm going to grab this. Okay, now what you want to do is you want to grab, okay, so you see our stitches all around. Okay, so I'm going to grab the outside stitch from each stitch, okay? So the outside loop on this row, see where I'm grabbing? And the outside loop on that stitch. And I'm going to go through it. And I'm going to go through it a couple or 3 times just because it's where it would have the most tugging, right? Okay, so then I'm going in the outer loop and the outer loop. Outer loop, outer loop for each stitch. Outer loop, outer loop. Now you're saying, why are you doing the outer loops? So when you look at it, it looks like another crochet line. Isn't that clever? And then you can't see the seam as well as you could if you just whip stitched it. Okay, outer loop, outer loop. And we're doing this all the way to that corner. Okay. Then I'm going to do a pom-pom for this sweater. Sometimes I do pom-poms, sometimes I do tassels. I have tutorials for both. I will put that in the description of this video. And if I forget, please comment that I have forgotten so that I can make sure it's in there. So I'm going to do a pom-pom with these same colors. Okay, and when I get to my last one, I'm going to go through and then I'm going through my loop. See how I've gone through my loop? Okay, I'm going through and then I'm going to go through my loop one more time. And then I am going to pull tight. Now, you never cut where you knot, something I've learned with jewelry and such. And we're not even going to cut this because we are going to save it, the tail, to tie our pom-pom or tassel on. But it doesn't need to be that long, so I'm going to cut it there. Okay? Okay. Then we're going to go to this area. This was our ribbing. Okay. So whichever is longer, either you're starting or whichever one is longer is the one you can sew with. I'm going to sew with this one. And this one you can just do a whip stitch. So take your two together, and it's only this bottom part here. And I'm just going to whip stitch this together. Okay, and whip stitch is just when you go back. You pull through and go back. And pull through, back, and pull through. When you get to the bottom, do a couple of extra because that's where the seam would be pulled the most. Okay, now I'm gonna knot this. I try not to do a lot of knots, but because these are seams, I'd be horrified if they came undone. You never cut where you knot, so I'm just gonna weave this tail in a little bit more. Now I'm only catching the stitches from this side of the sweater. Okay. And then I'm gonna cut it. And now just hide your threads like you normally would. Leave this one up in the corner of the hood. And then meet me back. So I've hidden all my threads. Okay, I'm gonna put it inside in, right? And there's my little, for my pom-pom for later. Okay, so now I'm gonna put a little bit of trim with that yarn I was using earlier. So, going into, if my sweater's looking at me, I'm going into the left-hand side. I'm going to pull my yarn through and chain two. Okay, then I'm gonna, no, I'm gonna double crochet, no, half double crochet around the edge. So one, should probably get 2 per row. Oops. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Oh, I broke my yarn. 14. Sorry, 13. This yarn I'm using is really not very... Okay, 14, yarn over. Sorry. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So, okay, what I did, here we'll go 20, is up to where we sewed it together, I got 20 stitches. So we'll try and get 20 on the other side as well. Okay, and see where my yarn broke? I just left the things there. I'll tie it after and then hide the threads. So let's do another 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, whoops, I went in the same spot. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I'm going to put one more. 21. So roughly 20. So see, it just ties it in to the bottom. That's all we're doing here. And then pull your, and then hide your threads. Okay, and if you want to do the same around the armholes, you can do that. My dog is super finicky and she will not let there be anything around her armholes, so I don't do that. Yeah, and then I'll show you how to tie on the pom-pom and we'll be done. Back in a minute. Okay, so I made my pom-pom. And you know, I fuss over pom-poms all the time, but here we go. Okay, so taking my crochet hook, I'm gonna go into the middle here. I'm gonna grab the tails from making my pom-pom. Can you see what I'm doing? And I'm gonna pull through. Now, you see these? We're just gonna tie them tight. Put that in. Okay, let's see how tight this is. Yeah, okay. So we're gonna tie them tight. Okay, then we're gonna split these and tie them more. Remember, I'm a bit of a freak about things coming undone. I hate that. So I'm just gonna tie and triple tie and quadruple tie because I hate that happening. Okay. pom-pom. Okay, so now I am just gonna give these all another tie just to be sure. Okay, and then I'm gonna cut. Okay, so it's just a little teeny tiny knot, and there is our completed little dog sweater. Okay, so you want to know how small this is. Okay, so let's see here. This, oops, is a stuffed kitten. Okay, so here's how. This actually might be too small for. This would be a big kitten. So here, let's go this. Okay, so here's your teacup chihuahua. Okay, so you would go like this, like you would a nylon, and you'd get to the headspace, okay? Then you'd help puppy put his head through, okay? And then you'd help him put his paws through, one paw, two paws, okay? And then there you go. That would be his sweater. And then see, he'd have the hood to cover his little ears. And there would be your little puppy dog or your little kitten. Now, it's not meant to go over the tail, but you know, you want their little legs to come out. There you go. This would fit probably a 1 to 3 pound dog or a kitten. My other stuffy is bigger than the average kitten. So there you go. And heck, if you want to make it for your kids' stuffies, like I just made this one to fit this, I mean, isn't that adorable? So don't forget to hit the like and subscribe, and if you want notifications of our newest video, hit the bell. Now, sometimes the bell doesn't always work. The other thing to watch for is I try and post a new video every Thursday at around 3 o'clock. Thanks for watching, and have a great day. Isn't he adorable? Bye now.